ASMR episode. But if it was, we would definitely enunciate.
I think it'd be fair to set a 30-minute timer for this discussion.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we should set a 29-minute timer for buffer.
Chris has to clean the gym.
He has to clean the gym. And I'd like for this I think this is going to be I really believe in that. I think we're ready.
I believe in you.
I believe in you.
I just want to make sure the volume's good.
You look really cute in the little toboggan, you little beanie.
Oh, you are? Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, ready.
All right. Well, hold on. I was going to say about my toboggan, it covers up like my most necessary Botox region.
Whatever.
All right. 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, everybody. This is, we don't know what episode yet, but probably episode 1 of the
BCPC.
The BCPC.
I like it. The Brandon and Clair, the Barbour and Company.
That could change. We don't know yet, but I think it's the
Podcast.
BCPC.
I think it's the BCPC. That's easy.
Anyways, what are we talking about this episode? I mean, we're probably going to talk about a lot of stuff, but probably jump all over the place.
I think since it's the first episode, we should probably talk about firsts.
Okay.
You know?
I'm down with that.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was funny. When I was having lunch with Nigel the other day, you know, I had the production sheet. What?
Who's Nigel?
Nigel is a member of our team. He does most of our marketing work, to be honest.
All right. So what y'all talk about?
We talked about a lot of things. We can't put it on the BCPC. But
why'd you bring it up?
I happened to have for some reason, I think when we were practicing this, I'd printed out our all-time production up till December 31st of this year. Of 2022. And what was interesting about it is I hadn't thought about it until we were thinking, you know, kind of brainstorming topics for this.
Right.
And it had been a long time since I went back and looked at our original production, like from your first year. Or really, my first year, too, was your first year.
Is that like 2014 to 2015?
Yeah.
Because I got my license July 1st, 2014.
Okay.
But I didn't have my first closing until I think that December. And then that's when it all began.
It was January.
It
was January of 2015. So, okay. So piggybacking on that concept, is that just...
Dipping.
Well, piggy dippins.
Go ahead.
Piggy pond. Whatever.
Just put the link
There's
up
so
in
much...
there.
There was a lot of space. Like if you looked on an MLS sheet, when you have years of production like us, it just prints and there's this, you know, all these lines. But when you look at the dates, it was like, wow, there's months and months and months in between these. And it was like, we went months. It was like, we were like camels, financial camels back in the day. It was like we were in the desert. But it was interesting start like going back and thinking through that, like how unacceptable it would be, you know, to only be able to close a few deals a year today, and like what the expectations, what the thoughts are, but then also going back and
Unacceptable for us. That doesn't mean that like other people do.
No, that's
it's just for like our budget and we're, you know, our bills.
I'm saying after 8 years in the business, if you're serious or if you're a
full-time
agent,
yeah.
I mean, 2
But
or
then
3
again,
closings a year probably isn't enough for you,
that
unless
might
certain,
be some people's goal though.
If you sold
So
three
we ain't hating
$15
on you.
million homes, then
Anyways,
don't follow me. Let me follow you, since, you know. But anyway, the whole point is it was interesting to go back because, you know, lunch was sort of it wasn't a review, but Nigel and I were kind of covering some things from the previous year.
Right.
And it was just, I never thought about how slow and how difficult it is to start off in this business until, I mean, I know
I remember it.
We'll share some of it then, since it's for first, because your first closing was January of 2015.
Well, I mean, technically, I was already broke before then. Like, don't get me wrong. I had shelter. I had a car. I had 2 part-time jobs.
What were you doing?
I was popping in sometimes at Wheels and Bumpers Car Wash, washing cars. That was a fun job. Made good tip money.
Oh, you were doing Outback and Wheels and Bumpers Cut at the same time?
Well, the owner of Wheels and Bumpers, he was so good to me, man. I could be like, hey, I want to work this Saturday and make some extra money. And then like I'd hit him up 2 or 3 weeks later and be like, "Can I do that again?" You know,
Yeah,
like
no,
he
I mean,
just
it's on
let me.
call labor. That's good.
He let me do what I want, basically, like work when I needed to.
Yeah.
Because he knew I was doing. I was still in school before that, and I don't know. I was kind of all over the place. I get bored pretty easily, which is why I do real estate. Anyways, I was waiting tables at Outback Steakhouse. Actually, I also was coaching part-time in the competitive cheerleading world, but that was a short-lived job for me. Anyways, I was used to being pretty broke. Like, those were all definitely part-time jobs where I wasn't making like a solid salary by any means. So when I got into real estate, it was like, you know, I had just got my license right after. I took the class right after I graduated from UNC Greensboro. And then just jumped right into real estate from there.
That's pretty cool because, I mean, it was years after I graduated before I mean, we're a couple years apart, so there's that. But I'm just saying I graduated and then went to Atlanta and worked in operations management for a couple years in trash.
Yeah.
Trashy.
So you had
But I worked here with my dad for a little while in trash. That's all we did. Trash. Have a trashy ass.
Yeah, but you also helped your dad, like, start a successful storage facility or turn one around.
That's yeah, we can circle back to that. But you were talking about your job.
Yeah,
but hold on. It made me think of my first job and my first boss, which was Mark Bateman in Hillsboro. And he's, as far as I know, he still runs Hot Tin Roof in Hillsboro. I miss Hillsboro. I do. I miss selling. I don't miss selling homes there. I haven't really sold that many in Orange County. Compared to where we sell. Yeah. But I would like to go back and sell where I'm from because it's. Well, I didn't mean to take the conversation. You finish what you're talking about with your jobs because that was.
No, you're good.
That was something related to getting to know areas and learn places through selling homes to people living there. Because that's how I got to know Alamance County and Guilford County. I always drove through it on the way to the mountains or Charlotte or Atlanta, back and forth, and I never would really stop. Granny moved. To Graham. She was always Burlington or Alamance centered because of Burlington Industries, because that's where she worked. But at West Point Stevens, actually, where she finished. Anyway, back to you. Sorry.
We're all over the place. Doesn't matter. Anyways.
You were broke.
I was broke.
Let's go back to that.
Where I was broke.
I was broke then, too. I mean, I was broker than you.
Let's go back to you.
No, I was just saying, like, there's that period in your mental history. You're like, oh, I was broke for that bar graph period of time.
Yeah.
Like 2000 this to 2000 that.
Well, and at some point we'll touch on how that starting your own business the right way, you kind of
you go
feel those pains again a little bit. But anyways.
In this industry, yeah, I like that. I'll make a note. Keep going.
I was used to being broke. I know I've said that 100 times. I don't know where I was going with it.
You were just harping on being broke. I
know,
remember
but
that.
what was
Can I tell that story?
What was the initial
when you
point?
went to the cash, the ATM?
No. What was the initial point?
I don't know. It was just
you were talking about looking at line items on a spreadsheet.
You were just remembering being broke then because you had several
we were just talking about maybe.
No. You had several part-time jobs. You said or two, right when you were starting because you got your license right out like after college. Like you graduated with a business degree in entrepreneurship, and then
fresh out the gate.
Oh, and then I chimed in and said it was several year gap between my education and then when I actually got licensed.
Yeah.
That was your first professional journey and only professional journey really is real estate brokerage.
Yeah,
which is awesome. In North Carolina, it's pretty cool because you are licensed as a not as a full broker, but as a broker, provisional broker. But there's some barriers there, but it's not like other states. So it was a bigger career move than maybe you knew in terms of the potential of a license and what you are like. Now you're a co-owner of a firm, team inside of another firm.
Sometimes I look back at how far I've come and what all I had to do to get here. And I'm like, could I do that again? No.
You don't think you could do it again?
Now that I know.
You don't want to do it again?
Now that I know exactly what all it took, no, I wouldn't. I mean, I would.
Are you going to say that when you're at the end of your life and it's like, hopefully you will?
I'm just trying to make the point that it's been hard to journey to where we are now.
Yeah.
It's been hard. Like, there's been fun times. There's been great times. There's a lot I'm proud of. But, like,
Everybody has a hard
The
vocation
real
in
estate
life.
course itself was hard. Just getting somebody to give you a chance in this business was hard. And then hoping that would snowball. It didn't. It took forever to snowball. And a lot of people give up in this business. There's so many people who they go and take this class, and I mean, I'm sure there's pretty accurate stats out there that show like a tiny percentage of them actually follow through and conduct business in real estate from there. Like a lot of people just kind of fizzle away. They
To a
don't
degree, that
pursue
might
it.
be why years in the business does matter. We should pull those stats, Chris. This is producer Chris. He's also our
Well,
admin
I bet
coordinator and
Superior
bookkeeper. He does a
School-
lot for us.
Superior
more than he
School of
can.
Real Estate would know the answers to that.
Well,
probably.
I was going to
or
say,
NAR.
how many
National
people drop out of the
Association
industry
Realtors.
as professionals after like 5 years? Because think about it, it was kind of like after
I don't
you
know.
were producing, you were award winner like your second year. Like you
I
were
would
honestly
say
saying, then you were just kind
after-
of president, and then it was kind of like always up there.
After 2 years is like
Right, but then okay, I will agree with you. There were several times in the business so far for me. I know there'll be probably times again, but it wasn't that I hated it. I just hated the way that the inertia and the currents and the momentum of our overall industry, creates your reality as an agent or a broker. Because there's so many things that as an individual are out of your control. And people just tell you, well, and it's like everyone's argument for disagreeing with you is, well, so-and-so said so, whatever. I'm like, well, who are they? Is that Dan Rather like level? Or like, is this the world news? Or who are these people that you're just citing as resources for me to like agree with?
right.
But I agree with what you were saying. And, I don't really know where I was going with that. I'm not trying to complain about it. Everybody has a hard vocational pathway was something that I said a while ago. But ultimately, I think what it comes down to is that conversation of agent to broker. Like, I think owning your own business is uniquely difficult. And I'm not trying to knock on a W-2 employee. I have been one. I've been a salary employee plenty of time. I am one now,
Yeah,
Barber
but it's
and Company.
different.
But that's what I'm saying is, owning your own business, especially in today's context, and particularly blue-collar business. I mean, real estate brokerage is sort of a huge spectrum. You see all kinds of different agents and options. You can pick any kind of agent you want or even broker.
Yeah, there's
Brokerage
a ton
firm.
of us out there to choose from.
There's a lot of flavor, and that's great. I think there should be options, and I believe in competition, free competition. Iron sharpens iron. That's a old quote from my life, and anybody that went to Orange High and wrestled for Coach Schreiner. But when you get into the context of running and owning your own business, on top of producing the good or service that got you in that field in the first place, it changes your whole relationship with your responsibilities and priorities and objectives. And unfortunately, you have to, that whole wearing more than one hat thing, there's probably a huge just a universe expansion of conversation that could come from what that really looks like when you start to consider which hats should I really be wearing and which ones should I not be, and which ones make me money and which ones do I just think make me money, and which ones am I actually entering life with more risk by wearing when I should figure out a way to outsource to someone who can do it better than me, or all those kinds of things. So
Right.
But then the taxation part and under like learning how to pay your employees the right way and how it's way more complicated. There's videos and people are like, it's so easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. I come from a family of small business owners. I was born into a world where I never knew my parents worked for anyone else. Mm-hmm. That was great. But I also saw all the other things that go along with that and
stuff behind the curtains.
What the back kitchen looks like to that business front when you're doing everything. And I think that's what you're talking about is at some point it stops being about just getting some closings or supporting yourself. And it's like, do I want to be in business? And I think that's where you, like you're saying it, after you prove to yourself, yes, I can earn a living doing this early on, like 27, 6, 8, off of your own social network. Like most of your closings I was looking at in your first, they were your friends. They were people
25. 26, yeah.
Oh yeah, you were 25, 26, exactly.
Yeah, I had my first closing when I was 25.
Okay, so that year, most of those people were your friends who supported you
Yeah.
and trusted you and were about your age anyway and called you and said, do you want to
All of
help
my
me?
business, for the most part, was just people that I already knew, or people that I already knew.
And that's true about the business in general, even to this day. It's
There
sweet,
was
trust.
every now and then I would get referred business from people in our office because they didn't really work the Burlington market, and I made sure to let everybody know in our office, like, hey, if you get any clients looking in Alamance County, I'm happy to pay a referral fee. So like I was getting fed some of those, and then I started to get more and more closings, and one of the top agents in our office would send me a lot of leads or get me to help him and his wife co-list on some things. So that helped really, that helped me grow a lot of experience. Just, I think I picked the right company, and I mean, if it weren't for them starting out, I don't think I would have gotten the amount of referrals that I did.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that many, but it was a few.
I was
good
getting
ones.
thrown a lot of bones.
You were?
Yeah.
And then I came in the deal, and then all that stopped.
No, that's not true. You just don't remember it.
I don't. I feel like most of the business that I would like to go and I would like to print that out.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from the couple that, we're closing. It's funny. Jeremiah, you can call me on this. We're closing a deal in a couple of weeks on a client that originated from a referral from him a long time ago.
He referred those clients to me, and I got them under contract, and we've been friends ever since. We helped them buy their first house. We helped them sell that house. We helped them buy their second house, and now that house is listed and under contract, and they're under contract on another house.
Wabin referred us a great Burlington listing, and it made sense for him, and it made sense for us. That was really cool of him to have done that. It was a nice house.
See, the list goes on. I could give you plenty of others.
Yeah, but I'm saying maybe one or two a year, not enough to like live off of, but enough. Like I agree with what your statement is that starting out at a firm with established agents who are nice and want to help teach you the right, or let you kind of mesh with them. It's hard to be a new agent.
Yeah.
Especially if you have any signs of being competent, because it's very competitive. And no matter what anybody wants to say, it's hard to have that aerial view and realize your neighbor isn't your competition, or they don't have to be at all. But it feels that way, when just as a human, you see 15 people and they're all agents in a room, you're mingling at an agent, these two are new.
There's a lot of different personalities in that room.
That's good for the market too, and for consumers to have that, many people to choose from.
I mean, shoot, if I had a magic wand, I wish that all of us agents who took the business very seriously and were true professionals, I would like for us to all treat each other like we're on the same team. Even if you have to be adversarial sometimes in a professional manner, it doesn't mean that you're not representing your clients to their fullest.
Oh, I agree. I was writing some notes the other day, and being able to competently discuss facts, even when they might not work in favor of your client's desires, you can represent those desires and still mediate facts and let other people make up their minds based on these facts. And learning how to do that with skill and care and in the right way, and that also works for your client's goals, I think that's tough. And that's all communication.
I agree. So I wanted to ask you this because I want to make sure that we talk about it.
Yeah. What are we on time, Chris?
19 minutes.
Great. Yeah. Keep moving.
That's how much we have left?
That's where we are.
Oh.
We have about 10 minutes left.
How long have we been going?
We've been rambling. All right. So definitely glad we're bringing this up. So, Brandon, I want you to start this conversation because I feel like you're the one who gave us this turning point in the first place in our business.
Okay.
What has it been like for us over the last year in this business, just in terms of our business? What have we been up to? I want you to be the lead on talking about this.
Oh, wow. I don't know. I mean, a lot of it.
The big things.
I
in
know.
a
I'd love to
nutshell.
take credit for a lot of what's come about, but really it's really.
Well, you're the one who started by reaching out and hiring somebody.
That's Chris, though, and I didn't reach out. He was like, we laugh about it. We're looking around. Chris came and
Tell everybody who Chris is.
Chris Joyce is our guy. But he was already our guy. He did a lot of house sitting for us and dog sitting and, trusting somebody with your home totally while you're gone on.
Well, sort of fresh out of college too, Wingate.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. I mean, like Chris was younger, but generally speaking, being able to go out of town as a real estate agent who's busy, I cannot think about my house and what's going on there while I'm, out of town. So you need somebody to be there.
Aminos.
Yes,
your little doggies.
Little aminos. And you want somebody.
Anyways,
you're
the one who
Chris
got
was
that
already
going.
in our world, and he had already proven himself to be a trustworthy friend. And why would you not want to hire someone like that? And he had these extra skills.
Yeah.
So he had math decision science from Wingate, and then had the QuickBooks certification. Then he went back to community college, ACC, to kind of get some.
So how does he use that for us now?
I mean, he definitely uses that. That's one of the things put in place, like having someone keep up. As a real estate agent, the last thing you really feel like doing when you get done with all this stuff is like, no, where am I going? How many miles am I riding?
The organization part.
And then it turns into this stupid situation that you can't keep up with if you're dealing with people at the level that you have to.
All right, quit your complaining.
Point is, Chris was a guy.
We needed a solution, obviously.
But Chris has all these other skills that, as an administrative coordinator, like, it's like having.
Tell us what he does.
I'll tell you what he does by telling you what somebody else does. And his position right now is kind of like the swing driver position. And I'm more like the supervisor. I don't know, manager.
Swing driver.
Yeah, the swing driver for like trash routes. It's someone who has a lot of different skills. They aren't, they can drive more than one truck type. Mm-hmm. They know the area really well, so they can kind of run any route with ease as long as they have a good route book or whatever. And they're mature, so they can handle certain levels of responsibility and can also help lead other people in the field too.
Got it.
So you want that. I mean, those are the qualities you
Chris
look for.
the swing driver?
He's the swing driver for those reasons. He knows the general landscape of where his strengths apply to our business, which is in numbers and math. Okay. So he's helped me build spreadsheets. He's young and he's flexible in learning, which like what you were talking, or what I was just talking about like the level of responsibility in a swing driver. You want a creative or like an improvisational person, someone who can actually handle switching gears a lot too, because a swing driver would be get a route half done and you have another guy finish early. So you're talking to your lead driver and you're like, hey, send him, let that guy whose route is next to that one finish his route since he's down, and then send the swing driver who started that to help finish route 24 who went down next. Well, that's what you have to learn to do when every single piece of equipment you have is shit.
All right, I'm going to give my version of what Chris is.
So Chris does all the things we need as the fires go on and off.
But it's like administrative tasks. So Chris fills out paperwork, like, I'm not going to say zip forms and DocuSign and all that, because I feel like people, y'all probably know what that is. Anyways, he fills out paperwork for us, and he sends it electronically to be signed to other people. He helps us keep a lot of the stuff organized. He helps us keep our calendar organized.
He runs Monday.com, and he matches our
Monday.com is where
with our spreadsheets, and he makes sure our pipeline and all of our numbers match what you're doing in your office upstairs with the TV in front of you, where you're like, oh, under contract.
And then I'll just end it with and miscellaneous.
Yeah,
I'm just going to end it with that. And then this year, we hired a transaction coordinator, Rebecca Witherspoon, with Pro Realty Partners.
Plug her here for sure.
Yeah. She reached out to us. We were doing a transaction in Gibsonville. Last year this time, Cotton Court. Lauren and Isaac Gibson they brought the buyers to the house. Anyways, Rebecca was helping them. When the whole deal was done, she reached out and she was like, hey, like, she was like,
y'all need help.
Yeah. I mean, in a nice way, late. She was like, I know y'all are busy, and like, I've heard about y'all. Y'all sell a lot. Like, you probably need some help. You want some help? And we gave her a shot. God, I'm glad we did that.
I needed so much help. And the reason why, this is so true in a lot of things, when you're in business for yourself, you hold things back from passing to someone else because you don't have enough on paper. You feel...
You doubt yourself in a way.
Not that.
You're
it's
like, oh, well, what if I hire her? And then it's like, I can't pay my, things get slow. Fear creeps in.
Well, there was that, but I'm saying even on busier years when it would have been a good time to have hired one then. I mean, the industry itself has developed. There were less options back.
I want to tell people,
ago.
like, Rebecca's job is basically when our clients go under contract, whether they're a seller or buyer or both, basically once they're under contract, she basically is the person to ensure that everything stays on track, scheduling wise, and your
She takes you home.
basic questions. I'm not going to give a bunch of examples, but she assists Brandon and I and our clients
And Chris.
as a team to make sure that nothing is slipping between the
And
cracks.
it helps because even today, 1031 exchange, the iTech and the closing attorney, I forget why they got confused, but she had all the stuff. Paying someone to be organized for you and your clients pays off because this closing is going to happen on time and without delays for a 1031 exchange because Rebecca was hired to take care of it. And honestly, maybe another TC would mess it up or not have kept that document or known enough about exchanges and all that to know how to keep that organized.
Well,
the right
she
way.
is a task-oriented person, and she checks the boxes
People
on
matter.
her list.
The people
we're
element
thankful
matters.
for her.
Just pulling off the road for a second. That's why AI doesn't answer every problem and technology isn't what we think it is. Back onto the highway.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next subject. Run out of time. This is 30. People got short attention. You just got to talk to them.
Yeah. We'll just for like a couple minutes talk about. Give me this. Somebody making fun of my quick
I can't read
handwriting.
upside down. I can't see as
I was
going
to tell you. You
Go
got to
ahead.
use your ears.
That's right.
not your
You're
eyes.
interviewing.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, I got it.
We're going to talk about the current market, which I know all agents do that. I mean, if you have Instagram or TikTok, you're going to hear about it. No, hold on. Current market and maybe any upcoming projects we're excited about, but you can't go too detailed.
I'm excited
have
about
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
time.
projects. I really am. There's a big
Well, let's
fish
talk
swimming out there, and I want to hear from it.
Let me
I heard from other people.
Let me ask
that
you
know the
this
fish that is supposed
question.
to call me.
I'll let you answer this.
Are you?
Are we busy in today's market right now?
Okay,
are we busy?
This is interesting. Today's market maybe is a disaster everywhere else in the country, but not here in North Carolina. Our listings and other agents' listings. I'm not being like, you should call us because we sell our listings fast. Like competent agents, and there are several really great options locally and
among the state of North Carolina.
Yeah, to choose from. Ask around, ask us who competent agents are. We'll tell you,
Yeah.
but because we work with them and we work with incompetent. But for people who are choosing to price their homes in line with the market or in line with at least their strategic goals, some people are fine waiting. Some people want to go faster.
That's a good way to put it.
I'm just saying, based on a number of factors, generally speaking, when people make successful decisions, and that happens when you're coached by a broker.
When people listen to my very detailed preparatory list when it comes to getting their house ready for the market, and then they listen to the data that helps come up with the price. That right there is called the bread and butter, my people. That is the perfect combo.
Your bread and butter is selling well because
pricing well and prepping well.
36,
Prepping and
78
pricing
single
is the
leaf.
bread and butter for sellers.
Hold on a minute, but it's all about
That should be a
cadence
thing.
too.
I like that.
What you
I'm gonna
do?
Write that
it down. Write it down. I'm like, what was it? I'm gonna write it down too.
Prepping and pricing.
And pricing.
Should I say right or?
Hold on, just write it down. That reminds me of my first listing. Raven Court, Aaron Piver. Guess what his thing is? Proper planning prevents piss poor performance. See what I always said? And he is a proper planner. Him and Shannon, my word. Bought their first house together, all cash, young as mess.
There it is. Okay. Prepping and pricing well is a bread and butter for sellers.
They'll be fine with it. What?
You didn't hear me?
Huh? About your bread and butter?
Y'all won't forget this. Prepping and pricing well is the bread and butter for sellers.
For a marketing mix, it is.
Anyways.
Absolutely. Well, okay, and then Huffine Ridge is coming soon. It's presented well coming soon. It's a great home. It fits in a great, what would it call, like a target market? Mm-hmm. Anybody buying between 200 and 300 right now in our general triad area, should
updated,
be a great,
clean, just good to go.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
like dominance,
give us one project that's upcoming that you're very excited about. Don't go into too much detail though, because we don't want to give it away.
This project, I'm excited about the podcast project.
Yeah,
I am because going back to Chris and just in general, all of us have creative desires. You have creative desires. The office that you're even building out for yourself right now, even down to the computer you're buying.
I know.
Is a reflection of your creative.
I got good taste.
Yeah, you do. You do.
Minus. I'm just
Chris
kidding. I'm just kidding.
He loves podcasts. And it's and I like to talk.
That's the truth.
But I like the idea of the conversational medium. You know, like you and I, or our guests. Speaking of which, we'll
Go ahead
close
and
with
announce
that.
for next week.
But the podcast is probably my
we'll
most
close
favorite
with that.
project right now. My favorite project. Damn.
All right. You can ask me,
Can I ask you some questions?
Ask me
What is your favorite change?
No. Ask me about a project. I don't want to answer that.
What's your favorite upcoming project? Go Clair.rowe.
Okay, so we are, and I won't go into too much detail. We are doing a video that talks about a certain area and some components of that area. I don't know. I'm really excited about it. And we're going to be able to use that video, with other listings that are in that area. And I just think it's going to be really cool, especially when we can share that video. Am I saying too much?
I don't know what you're saying. That's fine.
We can share that video with people who are relocating to the area and they don't know much about it. So I didn't sell it for y'all good, but I don't want y'all knowing all the great things about it just yet. You'll see it.
Okay.
Anyways,
next week?
Next week's episode.
First guest episode is a new team member, new agent. You can say hiring. That's a little bit strong of a word.
She's going to be working at the same office.
She's
as
awesome.
us.
She first came into our life as a client. Someone wanted to sell her house.
Well, don't get too much away. That's for next week.
I know. But then, after meeting us
and hanging out with us
and having that pre-listing consult at Tana's, wow.
Oh yeah, that's what sold her.
She decided that agent life looked like a good fit for her future plans.
Well, she had always been thinking about it.
She's kind of been thinking about it. Anyway, that's next week. She's awesome. She's going to have a lot of great questions about getting started in the business. She's fresh off the press in terms of licensure, so hopefully she can say some things that if there are people out there who are thinking about getting licensed or other people who are freshly licensed and wants to take post-licensing with her. I mean, she is single, maybe some hot young
Shut up.
licensees.
All right,
I was
y'all.
already up, booed up with you when I went. Like last thing, you're the reason why I'm in real estate. And you said because you're ADD, you're in real estate. So
it's true. Sorry. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in. We'll see you next week. 5, 6, 7, 8.
You don't have to do that. That's just to match the sound.
Well, just do it.
Okay.
It's fun.
Go.
5, 6, 7, 8.
I thought last time we had to end that way. No.